Yo sup, this is your boy NY3. Like the end of every series of combo videos, we end things off with the deck profile. So here is my current build of Zefra that I am most comfortable using. So this is weighing the advantages and disadvantages of all of the different builds that I've tried and all of the different combos that I've tried, and this is what makes the final cut. Do keep in mind this is pre-Performer Power Odd-Eye Synchron. The next video after this one would be discussing the utility of the Odd-Eyes engine inside the Zefra deck, and that would probably be the last video before we get into link format and the link combos. So this deck I'm really satisfied with. I think it outperforms Zoo. It's more consistent than Zoo, it's faster than Zoo, and it's more powerful than Zoo. It lacks a bit of robustness compared to Zoo, since if their combo fails, they can fall back on traps. Like all of my decks, this is essentially a trapless deck, so if the combo fails, you really have nothing to back you up. But going first, the brick rate is 2%, so that's better than Zoo, Pure Zoo, since Pure Zoo usually runs about 16 Zodiac starters, which gives them a 94% chance to open one. If they run Pot of Desires, that goes up a bit, but this is 98% chance to open at least one play. You have an 89% chance to open a play through one hand trap, and you have a 45% chance to open a play through two hand traps. Obviously it depends what the hand traps are. I'm assuming Ash and Ogre, instead of like Maxi and Droll, things like that. Those are slightly harder to calculate because they're not, they don't stop one play, they kind of stop your whole turn. But yeah, anyways, here's the list. So for the Zefra monsters, 12 in total, 3 Zefrath, 3 Zefra New, 3 Zefraxi, 1 Zefraxaton, 1 Zeframpilica, and 1 Zefra Naga. Now I don't want to run more than 3 of the random Zefras. These 9, they're pretty much set in stone. The rest are all utility cards, but running more than 3 tends to cause you to see 2 or more of them in your hand, which can lead to bricks. So this is kind of a maximum consistency type of build. Now opening 2 low scales is usually never good. Opening 2 Zefras, of which none of them are Zefrath, is also not good. Opening 3 Zefras, none of which are Zefrath, is also not good unless 2 of them are Zefra News and 1 of them is a low scale. But by then you're making 3 cards to make 1 play, it's already pretty subpar. So yeah, that's the reason for the slightly lower number of Zefra. I do really want to run a Zefra Thorben, but in testing it kinda left it to a lot of bricks, and consistency is pretty important. Sometimes if you want to pendulum twice, you need to pop the Zefrath out of your scale into your extra deck so you can tribute your whole field and summon the Zefrath. Zefraxaton usually fulfills that role, but sometimes they don't have a face down for you to do that, which is when Zefra Thorben comes in handy. Having a scale 1 level 4 monster also comes in handy to make Dinglongs with level 1 tuners, or occasionally to overlay into rank 4s when you open Zefrath and a high skill such as Zefra New and a Drak Aolo, for example. So it kind of saves those hands if you run the Zefra Thorben. Sacrifices had to be made to get it down to 3 random ones. Zefraxaton is pretty important for its attack power. Also, you burn through the Zefra News quite quick, so sometimes you might be stuck with Zefrath in the low scale. Since Zefrath resets its scale to 5 every turn, you need to put a scale 7 Zefra into the extra deck every turn to be able to pendulum summon your Zefra News, which is, these things, they get pulled out of the deck really fast. So having the final high skill in your deck can be the difference between winning and losing. But yeah, its attack value is really important, since if you do the pendulum twice and you try to go for game, triple Zefraxi and a Zefrath is only 7,950 damage, so having that 1900 would be game. Yeah, and it's also good to have at least 1 level 4 Zefra for the rank 4 stuff, and the combos with the level 1 tuners into Dinglong. Zeframpilica, if you've been watching the combo videos, is part of the MX Saber Invoker Stardust Charge Warrior Searching Maxi combo. It's also a really good recovery against Strike. If you pendulum summon your Zefra New into a Strike, for example, You can normal summon Zefra and Pilica and bring back the Zefra New. If you have 2 Zefra scales, during the end phase, the Zefra New is going to blow itself up, and you get the search for the Zefra War. So at least provides you some form of disruption on your opponent's turn, should your Pendulum Summon run into a Solemn Strike. The Zefra Naga is pretty important since it combos with Zefraxi to make Dinglong. So this is kind of like unbricking hands as well. This unbrick comes up more often than the Zefra Dorban Dracaeolo unbrick, which is why he's here instead. But yeah, it also makes Baxia with Zefra New and Zefraxi. Also, it's a Shadow, which is kind of cool when we get to the side deck. For the rest of the monsters, the Zodiac stuff, we have Dragoons of Draconia, Ram, Whiptail, 2 Rap here. Now, Dragoons of Draconia is obviously really good because we want low scales to go with Zefrath. It's a scale 2, which is pretty cool because it can Pendulum Summon everything except the random Zefra Naga. For the Zodiac engine is pretty good. It lets you resolve Barrage twice usually. If you only run 3, you're probably only going to resolve Barrage once. And of course, all of these are pretty decent normal summons. Rap here, the obvious one aside, these 2. You can normal summon, get your Broble Search into either a scale or a play for next turn. You can put Chuckanine over it to bring back a guy that you can synchro with into Dinglong. And you get a Trident on top of that to top it off, so it's really good. The Ram strictly increases the power of the deck for no reason. Now, summoning Rap here and using its effect is pretty prone to Ghost Ogre, but the whole deck is prone to Ghost Ogre, especially this Zefrath guy. He's the prime target to be Ghost Ogred in this deck. And of course, Ghost Ogre is a hard once per turn, so they're gonna be ogering one or the other, not both. And if that's the case, there's no reason to not use Rap here's effect and dump Ram and go for the traditional Trident plus rank 4 combo, which is much more powerful than Trident Ram or Trident Hammerkong, should you be playing around Ghost Ogre with the Rap here. So this is a pretty good discovery that I made for this deck. As for the Dinosaur engine, 1 Oviraptor, 3 Miscellaneousaurus, and 1 Dracaeolo. Now I cut Dracaeolo down to 1, which might seem a bit YOLO. It was at 2, but I kind of ran out of space in the extra deck for the second Dinglong, so the second Dracaeolo became much less useful. The second Dracaeolo makes the grind game better since you're gonna have Miscellaneousauruses in the graveyard with nothing to summon from the deck mid-game if you don't have it, but we're trying to finish the game on turn 1 here. Drawing Aeolo is alright, so because the deck doesn't have many normal summons anyways, you're pretty unlucky to draw 2 normal summons in the same hand. In fact, this is all the normal summons in the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the Aeolos are 6. Sometimes if you open double Miscellaneousaurus, you can normal 1, discard 1, banish it to make Dinglong. So that can be a normal summon. If you have the Miscellaneousaurus and nothing else to do, you can normal summon the Zefraxiton to make a Dinglong. Obviously, Zefraxiton is highly searchable. Obviously, the dinosaurs are highly searchable as well. And those search cards give you the option of searching a normal summon or not. 2 is fine, having more tuners is cool, but 1 is definitely more consistent overall. The rest of the monsters, well, the hand traps, PSY-Frame, Engine, and MACR. MACR is obviously here because it's the most retarded card in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And plus we can search it. PSY-Frame Gamma is one of the main reasons to play this deck. Apart from the unfavorable interaction that it has against my body as a shield going second, usually if you have the Gamma, you're probably going to win that game. Going first, it makes any non-brick hand be able to play around any number of hand traps. Going second, it randomly spits out 2 beat sticks for no reason when they try to Trident pop your Zefrath. Being a level 2 tuner is really cool because it synchros with the level 3 Zefras into Dinglong. Yeah, quite likely the best card in the deck. Also, the deck lacks tuners. Zefraxi can make things a tuner, but it's not a tuner itself. Occasionally, Xiaofeng dies, and you don't want to search the Drag Aolo. Searching Gamma is not ideal, but it's something that you can search. Spells, triple barrage, field spells, future visions, triple Oracle of Zefra, one set rotation, triple terraforming, and the rest of the spells just search cards, triple Zefra Providence, triple Fossil Dig. Yeah, the Fossil Digs and the Dinosaur Engine are pretty crazy with just one Aolo, again, because we have essentially 6 Miscellaneousaurus to search one Aolo. The Aolo is the real combo piece here to go with the Zodiac Engine. Statistically, the 6-to-1 ratio is still favored over the 6-to-2 ratio in terms of pure consistency. Set rotation is pretty cool because you can give them Oracle of Zefra, they can't activate it unless they're playing Zefra. More than one really clogs because if you draw more than one, you're probably not going to resolve it. Like, field spells are locked out of the game for the rest of the duel pretty much. There's not that much reason running more than one, especially when the meta is pure Zoo and not things like Draco Zoo or Dracos. So resolving it isn't, auto win in the first place. It's just a nice consistency card. Kind of like the 4th Terraforming, but it's better than the 4th Terraforming. Unless you run more than one of it, then it becomes worse than the Terraforming. Future Visions in the main, it's really solid against Zodiacs since with the loss of Terratop, they've become a normal summon deck. If they don't normal summon Rat and dump something, this plays around Shuffle Reborn as well. If they use Rat to dump something, you can always shuffle it back into the deck with 9 Pillars, which also plays around Shuffle Reborn. But yeah, this just seals off half of a Zodiac player's plays by itself. You can easily access it when you need it with Ancient Fairy Dragon. Also, if you have an Ancient Fairy Dragon up, or any other ways to pop the Future Visions, everything banished by the Future Visions won't come back during the next standby phase, since the return effect is a trigger-like effect, so it actually triggers during the next standby phase to bring the guy back, and obviously if it's not face up on the field, it's not going to be able to trigger, so you can't trap their guys in the banished zone. Now against pure Dracos, this is going out for a straight swap in the side deck for Zombie World. It's not that terrible against true Dracos, but its banish effect is a trigger-like effect, so if they summon one of the little Dracos, like Dynamite Knight, this is a mandatory Chainlink 1, and their Dynamite Knight can chain the effects to it, so you're giving them free activations of the true Draco monster effects. What is cool though is that since you make them lose their monster, theoretically with the sub, they could never summon a monster immune masterpiece. They can only summon spell trap immune masterpieces, which makes the masterpiece really easy to clear with simple things like a single Trident. And the traps, just the minimum lineup, you don't really want to draw these, you want to search these. So I think this is really the perfect ratio for the traps in any Zefra deck. 1 War, double Pillars. 1 Pillars could be exchanged for Zefra Divine Strike. Sometimes it's better than Pillars, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just don't have enough Yang Zings on the field you want to pop. Divine Strike also plays around things like Gamseal on the Zefra New. But Pillars is just straight up better in every other way. Zefra War, I mean, if this didn't have a hard once per turn on it, I'd be running 3 cards amazing. Sometimes I wish I have the second, since I would, using the first is really natural, but the second sometimes is needed to out floodgates. But, opening these things are pretty bad, which is why I'm keeping it to a minimum. Extra deck, Synchros, 1 Xiaofeng, 1 Baxia, 1 Stardust, 1 Ancient Fairy, 1 Yazi, 1 Stardust Charge, and 1 Dinglong. The extra deck space is really tight. Only have space for 1 of each Yang Zing, and they're all really important. So yeah, these 4 guys, they're all really important. Baxi is a game finisher. Xiaofeng is MVP against Zodiac, which is pretty important if you ask me, since this is the Zodiac format. Earth Xiaofeng is the easiest Xiaofeng to make. Summoning this is pretty much GG. It's pretty safe to blind Xiaofeng this format, and just expect to win off that 1 Xiaofeng. Yazi, same as always, I've always used it as a way to search things, like Zefra New. Yeah, solid go-to level 7. Dinglong, no explanation needed. Stardust is here instead of PSY-Frame Lord Omega. I found that Omega is completely useless against pure Zoo. Now Omega is kind of cool against Dracos because when they activate their trap effect to tribute summon on your turn, those traps have a restriction to only be able to tribute in the main phase, which is when Omega can snipe their monster from the hand. Omega is pretty cool in that matchup, but against pure Zoo, it's pretty useless since you're probably going to be hitting like, duplicate normal summons. They have 2 Zodiac monsters, you hit one, it didn't affect their hand in any way, or you can hit one of 2 barrages, they just don't care. And of course that deck is like 20 non-engine cards. You hit any of those, they don't really care. They only need to get that one play to go through. And Stardust strictly negates one of those plays. So if you can neutralize their normal summon, Stardust is, there to negate barrage, and when that's done, their turn is pretty much done. Ancient Fairy took the space of the second Dinglong when I decided to main Future Visions. Otherwise it would be in the side deck, but Future Visions is pretty nuts, so it's worth it. Stardust Charge Warrior, obviously there for the combo to search Maxi. Exceeds, Tornado Dragon, Double Trident, Hammer Kong, Tiger Mortar, Chuckanine, Road Bull, and MX Saber Invoker. So yeah, this is part of the Search Maxi combo. This is the go-to rank 4 when you dump Ram with Wrap here. You don't need Emerald because you have no intention of letting any games go past turn 1. And all the fields you make are pretty much unbreakable anyways, and this just adds to solidify that unbreakable field. Also, you usually always have pillars to back your field up, so your field is not prone to mass removal cards anyways, which is what things like Emerald is playing around. 6 Zodiacs is quite big. As I mentioned, with 4 Zodiac monsters in the main deck, you can make 2 Zodiac pushes. With 3 Zodiacs in the main deck, you can make only 1 Zodiac push. For the extra deck, 4 or 5 Zodiac extra deck monsters make 1 push, whereas 6 Zodiac extra deck monsters can make 2 pushes. So you really either go 3 in the main, 4 to 5 in the extra, or 4 in the main, 6 in the extra, which is twice as strong than the former. You dedicate 1 more space in the extra and main, and the Zodiac engine is twice as good. Side deck, Doggoran for the Dinosaur engine. Although this deck has no problems against Masterpiece, we might as well make it even easier to out it, and it makes it much easier to deal with double if they have it. There's no point not to run such a highly searchable card. Siding one random kaiju is the same as siding 5 kaijus due to all the searchability. The Shadow engine, so Hedgehog, Dragon, Beast, Wunder, Shikanaga, and 3 Shadow fusions. I think it's worth taking risks going second, since going second, no matter what deck you're playing, you're already severely disadvantaged. So the potential of drawing brick cards should be the least of your concerns. What you really need is power plays, bomb cards, to have a chance to turn the unfavorable game state that's inevitably going to happen around. So Shadow Fusion is one of those cards. Beast and Dragon, they're pretty standard for anyone siding Shadows. The Hedgehog is here because we can search the Zefra Naga off it, which is pretty cool. We can also fuse the Zefra Naga if worst comes to worst. If all of these are gone somehow and you have a Shadow Fusion, you could always fuse Zefra Nagas. Again, it'll be great to be able to run a Zefra Core, because fusing Zefra Core, so dumping a Zefra Core from the deck to the graveyard, or from your hand to the graveyard, would trigger its effect to special summon a Zefra from your scales to the field, which can help in extending combos. Sometimes you can also search a high scale of the Hedgehog if you need it, but again, I don't want to go over that threshold of 3 random Zefras. As for the side, going off topic a bit, the Dracoons of Draconia, but instead of the Performer Pal King Bear, if you have the Zefrath, low scales are going to be better than high scales generally, unless you're going for the Maxi combo, in which case you didn't really need either high scale or low scale to go with the Zefrath, since you're making Ding Long and searching the scale that you need. High scales do save you if you open, for example, exactly 1 high, 1 low scale. You want to be able to Pendulum Summon the Zefra New. along with the Zodiac engine. So if the Zodiac engine could search the King Bear, you could Pendulum Summon the Zefra New, but if you only have the Dragoons of Draconia, you can't. Same thing with Hedgehog, with Core and Naga, but that comes up way less since this deck is running 12 Zefraths, well 13 Zefraths if you count all of the searchability like Oracle, Providence, Terraforming, and Set Rotation. You have to open none of those for the high scale to be better than the low scale, and I don't think that comes up enough to warrant running Zefra Core and perform without King Bear. Zombie World, straight swap for Future Visions against the True Draco matchup. Searchability for this is really high. We have the Ancient Fairy Dragon combo that we use to search the Future Visions. We have Set Rotation as well as Terraformings. And if you can back this up with a couple of cards such as a Pillars to negate the Cosmic Cyclone on this, and a Trident to pop their Diagram, which can out this by popping a spell, there should be no way that you can lose that matchup. You know, Set Rotation is especially good if you give yourself Zombie World and give them the Oracle. They can never flip the Oracle, so they can never activate Diagram, which is their main out to Zombie World. You know, they're down to hard drawing their spell trap removals, and even if they get rid of this, they still can't, you know, Diagram until they get rid of the Oracle. And the last 5 cards in the side are 3 Twin Twisters, double Cosmic Cyclone. This might be better than this, but I've lost 4 of these in the mail so far, trying to get a third one. But yeah, hitting strikes is pretty good. Outing Anti-Spell, outing Imperial Order, and outing Unending Nightmare are very important. Hitting Barrier preemptively is pretty good, since this deck can make significant pushes with Exceed, Synchro, and Pendulum at any given point. But if they flip Barrier on a choke point where you can only access one of the summoning methods because you've already committed to the field, is really dangerous. So you actually want to hit this Barrier so that they can chain something. Twin Twisters is pretty good since we have quite a lot of things to discard. Drawing 2 or more hard once per turn cards like Shadow Fusion can be discarded. You can Twin Twister, discard Twin Twister. Any of the traps we don't really want, we can discard. You know, 2 or more Barrages, 2 or more Oracle, 2 or more Providence. If you open 2 or more normal summons, you can discard them. Discarding Miscellaneousaurus, or even Fossil Digging for Miscellaneousaurus to discard with Twin Twisters, is pretty profitable. And of course, PSY-Frame Driver, if you open 2 or more Gammas, or yeah, Twin Twister is definitely a solid card. But yeah, that's the deck. As always, check out ygosingles.com if you want to purchase Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and don't forget to use the discount code NY333YGO while you're there.